Welcome ladies and gentlemen to a casted game of Age of Empires 4, and today we've got something very special for you because we are on the PUP, the Public Update Preview for Age of Empires 4 Season 4. Because Season 4 is approaching us, we have got access to the Public Update Preview, the patch preview for Season 4, with all the new changes, the new additions to the civilizations, whether it be new units or reworking of landmarks. And today we've got beastyqt playing in the north corner of the map in yellow, as the Abbasid Dynasty, also going by the name Pup Wen, but of course we do know it's beastyqt, and in the south he's going to be going up against SAS playing in red as the Ottomans. Now, one of the two civilizations have changed drastically, and it's not the Ottomans. The Ottomans have had a few bug fixes, not much other than that really. It's the Abbasids where things have changed significantly, and a lot of it revolves around this, the House of Wisdom. The landmark, which is for the Abbasid Dynasty, it has wings attached to it, whether it be the trade wing, military wing, economic wing, or the culture wing, and certainly things are changed on that front. So you still age up with separate wings. But for example, with the trade wing, you now spawn with 3 traders once the construction is complete. With the military wing, it actually spawns units based on the age that you're in. So if you're in the feudal age, you get spearmen and archers. Well, just 1 archer, 2 spearmen, that is. In the castle age, you get 2 camel riders. And in the Imperial Age you get 3 cannoneers. Also, things like camel rider shields, the upgrade has been moved to the stable rather than the House of Wisdom. And the technology they used to get composite bows moved to this wing, the military wing that is actually in the Castle Age, and the cost is reduced from 700 gold, 300 wood to 350 gold and 150 wood, and that is a huge saving, 50%, and we could see a massive change in the meta because of that. Moving on to the economic wing, we have added technologies called Fertile Crescent technology, which costs 25 food, 75 gold, and reduces the wood and stone cost of economic buildings and houses by 25%, so a bit of saving there. And the Fresh Foodstuffs technology is actually moved to the town centre. Also, the Fresh Foodstuff cost bonus has been reduced from 50% to 35%, so a little bit of a nerf there for the Abbasid Dynasty. Where things will really get interesting, I feel, is the Culture Wing. Because the Culture Wing is it's the wing that actually beastyqt is going to go up to the next stage with, and it reduces the cost of all technology by 20%, and now things have changed because it really is all technology, including the age ups. So Castle Age will actually be cheaper now with the Preservation of Knowledge technology. And I suspect what could be a nice strategy for the Abbasid Dynasty is a fast castle, going for the Preservation Knowledge, the Culture Wing first, and then to unlock a cheaper Castle Age. And it looks to be like beastyqt is doing just that. I was doing a bit of theory crafting, and it does seem like fast castle could be an option against some civilizations, and the Ottomans might be one of them. Does get a blacksmith, looking to perhaps get some upgrades in case there is pressure. Does have a exposed gold at the back. He might think about dropping an outpost there potentially if he is pressured. Speaking of pressure, that's what the Ottomans do best in the feudal age, and they do already have some production buildings. Going for the first military school now. He didn't have a military school opening, which is something that we commonly see with the Ottomans. He delayed the first military school and instead went for a stable and an archery range, but he doesn't yet have any units on the field, and that's rather surprising. They invested in the infrastructure but no units just yet. As we see, the Golden Age Tier 1 has been activated for beastyqt. That will add in a bit of the eco bonuses that the Abbasids get, and as we will be able to see now, the age up requirements for the Abbasid Dynasty will be a little bit less, as we do see a Sipahi just annoying those villagers on berries. And it does feel familiar, the strategy going fast castle with the Abbasid Dynasty. They're going for the berries first and then being able to rely on sheep later on. Speaking of which, he only has 2 sheep there, Beastie, which is not ideal. But the Sipahi not necessarily going to get all that much value because it is within range of the town centre. He gets this around, might lose it. No, he kills it. He kills the Sipahi before a villager goes down. He's going to bring the weak villager back to the town centre to keep him safe, to keep her safe rather. Scout coming forward for SAS to see if he can get any more value. But it does certainly look like this is a fast castle by beastyqt, and you can see that the age up cost has been reduced. Let's just check a look at the House of Wisdom. So for example, if it's to go for a military wing, which would spawn him actually 2 camel riders in the Castle Age, it only costs 960 food and 480 gold once once the Preservation of Knowledge tech has been researched, and this is a big savings. It used to be 1,200 food and 600 gold. The Ottomans looking to be aggressive with an archer here. Just one though. A bit surprised with the lack of military on the field for the Ottomans. It does feel like he's going to be on a bit of a time and not really being able to produce out of these production buildings. And so it's just kind of sunk resources. It does also mean he's going to have a delayed castle age himself. So kind of an interesting strategy here for SAS. Hasn't quite gone for a fast castle. Hasn't quite committed to a heavy feudal age push either. And possibly maybe thinking about going to the castle age himself. Because not getting all that much value, but the military schools are up and running now, training in Sipahi on this first one. And there is the military wing for beastyqt's Abbasid Dynasty, and I think this is going to be a nice build. Up to 7 minutes 15 seconds. It isn't the fastest fast castle in the world, but bear in mind he should have a strong economy behind this as well because of the cheaper technology costs that will be there in the castle age. Committing to the outpost now. And bear in mind that this is a relatively safe fast castle for the Abbasid Dynasty. You've got plenty of wood in the bank. 350, could afford 2 production buildings very soon, has a blacksmith as well, so it wasn't so much like a direct, straight fast castle here for the Abbasid Dynasty and beastyqt. He played it kind of with some preparations to have some feudal aggression if he really needed to, with the wood that he had. And now he's investing that wood in the outpost to that gold, so he can secure the gold income for the push in the castle age, which will come out of with 2 stables. It looks like it's going to be camel riders, and don't forget, he's going to get 2 camel riders spawning because of the military wing upgrade to the castle age. Now, the reason why we're focusing on the Abbasid Dynasty so much is because that is the civilization which has changed the most in this matchup. You see a couple of archers now pushing forward for SAS. He's starting to build up the military numbers, but it feels like it's a little bit too little too late. Has 15 of them on the field, keeping a couple of units on the west, scout, and a Sipahi. Let's just looking to deny any further expansion to the pocket economies on the deer, looking to maybe punish beastyqt if he chooses to do that, but this is the benefit of going to the berries nice and early for the Abbasid Dynasty. You get a lot of food, fast food as well for the Abbasids, and then you can move to the safety of the town centre and the sheep, and the Sipahi is going to take a lot of damage in that outpost. 12 villagers on the sheep. We will need to start spreading elsewhere though. Does look to get wheelbarrow and also iron undermesh as the upgrade, as the castle age does now come in just shy of 9 minutes. The 2 camel riders are spawned. Now he could probably push a lot of this back. SAS just doesn't really have the military numbers he needs to really make it an effective push, and well, whilst he's harassing, these 2 camel riders will help the push back, and he already has 2 more camel riders training as well. So they should push away the Sipahi and the scout, and a couple of losses there for SAS. Might just about get away with the scout though. Does just about save the scout. Ottomans on the back of this. Does look like SAS is committing now to barracks for some spearmen against the camel riders. Not a bad play here. He will be an age behind, at least for the time being. He's starting to send the villagers over to gold. And that signals that he is looking for a castle age time behind this relatively soon, as the 2 camel riders just tank the damage a little bit. And like what beastyqt is doing here, doesn't have a lot of military on the field, but these are castle age units. And these are just keeping the Ottomans away. That's exactly what Beastie wants to do. He's moved back out onto the berries, and that is huge. Being able to take advantage of that now again means it doesn't have such a hard farming transition or a more risky expansion to the deer. So he's just feeding off the berries now for now, and he's going to pick off a lot of archers here. This is a bad play by SAS to keep his armies separate there. And he's going to try and get some value with his Sipahi going forward, but he's going to lose the bulk of his archers here, if not all of them. Might have some spearmen coming in the back to try and defend. Does have the meta there as well. He's going to make a run for it. Sipahi not getting all that much value because 2 more camel riders do pop out and the villagers are back on berries again. That's not what SAS wants here. Doesn't want beastyqt to be on those berries. Nice bit of food income there for Beastie. Here come the spearmen. beastyqt pulls away with the camel riders. Does have one relatively low health. Only 47 HP left on this guy. The meta is in the background. Spears engage. Archers in the back line. Don't get all that much damage against the castle age camel riders though. Does have steeled arrow, the Ottomans, and looks like we're going to get camel rider shields, which grants camel riders shields. Well, yeah, that's just as it is in the name, improving their melee armor by +3, and that is huge. That'll help them tank a lot from the Sipahi and the spearmen. That's significant because the camel rider shields has been moved to the stable as well, so this is something that is being researched on the stable. Sipahi looking to try and cause some damage on the gold villagers, but the outpost obviously doing a lot of work there, helping a lot. And behind all of this, the Ottomans now are aging up to the castle age with the Mehmed Imperial Armory. Now, I guess one of the very few things that have changed about the Ottomans, and well, all civilizations, well, the siege workshops and the siege workshop type landmarks, they can now produce rams. And rams have been buffed recently in this patch. And so that could be, well, it's not something we're going to see in this game, I don't think, unless we go to a super late game. They have tried to improve the scalability of this unit. Rams were very rarely seen in the Imperial Age. And that could change with the current changes in the upgrades that are available to them, and also the fact that you get some upgrades to make them cheaper and also train faster, and the fact that they can be produced from siege workshops too. Spears do engage, but with camel rider shields in play now for these camels, I don't think they'll mind taking this fight at all. And they're going to clean up these spears. That is a strong unit now, these camel riders. He's going to engage you with even more spearmen. I'm not sure that's the ideal play to do though, because there are 5 of them. Yeah, beastyqt is going to use the mobility of this unit and just pull them away. The meta is drumming away in the stealth forest. Camel riders just riding past, didn't quite spot him. Has now moved over to a further berry patch there, the Abbasid Dynasty, because of the map control that beastyqt has right now. Being an age up, and look at the eco upgrades coming in now. Taking advantage of the cheaper upgrades. Double broadaxe, horticulture, and forestry. Also the blacksmith upgrades as well will be cheap with preservation knowledge. A lot of spears coming out though for the Ottomans. And it could be the case now the Abbasid Dynasty need to transition into archers. Or possibly camel archers. And another thing that needs to be mentioned is composite bows. I think maybe beastyqt may have already potentially researched it. I'm not entirely sure, but in any case, composite bows is something that is made cheaper for the Abbasid Dynasty. It might be a case that that could be in the Imperial Age. We'll have to double check that in any case. Composite bows have been made cheaper for the Abbasid Dynasty, and so going archers could be a nice touch for them. As we see camel handling now coming in as well for the upgrades for beastyqt, as walls are going down there on the west side. Though the villager building it unfortunately perished. Spearmen do continue the chase, does pick off a camel rider on the retreat. Mehter riding over him. There is a lancer or two there hovering for the Ottomans, keeping a Sipahi on the back, just always keeping an eye on this deer pack. Does not want beastyqt to go there. The new camel riders are incredibly strong, it seems, with the upgrades that they can get now. And this is a nice play. Looks like the Abbasid Dynasty Fast Castle is a nice play at the moment, especially against the civilization, even with Ottomans. I mean, I guess SES did play this relatively passively compared to what can be done with the Ottomans. Just a nice demonstration nonetheless of how powerful the Abbasid Dynasty now can be with the Fast Castle. Staying on one town centre. This is not something you see very often with the Abbasid Dynasty. Often, you know, usually relatively guaranteed that they go in 2 town centres, but not today, not with the changes in the public update preview for Season 4. So the 2 town centre Abbasid Dynasty meta might have changed slightly here. Quite a few villagers going to be on that gold vein, but might be sniped with the Lancer. That is the case, and good value there for that Lancer. A couple of camel riders do continue the chase. Look to take away that pain in the back of this base, because the villagers are now going out to the deer pack, running out of food. And the nice thing for the beastyqt is kept map control, relatively a good presence on the map. And this meant he's been able to take out the pocket economies as he so wishes with the deer, the berries. And it's going to go on the deer pack here on the east as well. Doesn't actually have any military there, so it could be a source of problems if the Ottomans spot this. But it looks like it's going to go straight into the middle. Might take an engagement here. Won't be a good engagement for the Ottomans because there are a lot of camel riders. Despite the spears, there are a couple of scholars there as well. A couple of imams healing up the units. There are archers. These are veteran archers too. Those will pick apart the spearmen. Might look to focus the meta too. Does take away one of the metas. There's 3 meta there, but not many units. And the units are starting to build up for beastyqt. SES still has the advantage on that front. It doesn't have them all together. Has them in split armies. There's a couple of camel riders going on the west side looking to deny the sacred site. Well, it looks like beastyqt had that sacred site. The spearman denies it. In the back though, there is a lancer again getting value, so this is a nice play by SES. No walls coming out for beastyqt. They have been made more expensive from 5 wood to 7 wood. And does lose a couple of villagers here, beastyqt. SES doing well on the villager count, picks off another 2. And that's an exposed bit of economy, and beastyqt is being paid, is being made to pay rather, for the lack of walling. SES being a bit passive with his army there on the front lines. Don't blame him when he has camels and archers to contend with. Camel riders looking very strong here. 270 HP with 14 melee attack base damage. Okay, looking good here. No melee attack upgrades from the blacksmith yet for beastyqt. Now the walls are now up and protecting the Ottoman base here. So also extending the base a little bit here, just to get that wood line nice, safe and secure. A couple of gates too. Nicely protecting the relics with a couple of units out and about. Speaking of relics, it looks as though beastyqt has a lot of them. He actually has 4 relics already. It comes down to getting that castle age first. Okay, the archers are going to pick up the spearmen. There is a mangonel, so beastyqt will need to be careful not to take a too bad engagement. The mangonel will be protected by the spears. The spears engage. This is the big fight, but the camel rider shields for these camels, adding the melee armor, doing a lot of work, and there is the meta in the background. The archers don't focus on the meta, they focus on the spears instead. That's not necessarily a bad play, but looks like beastyqt is going to head further back. Does have quite a few imams. The imams might be the difference here. Now, imams have been nerfed a little bit as well. They don't heal as much during combat as they once used to. As we see, the spearmen are engaging with the camels. The camels doing good work. The archers focusing on the spears. With the spears going down, that's the problem. The camels should be able to reign supreme here. The army for SAS starting to dwindle. The meta only influencing a couple of the units. And he is being overrun here. The imams look like they're playing the difference. Archers will shoot at the meta. The meta survives for now, but for how long? Because now it looks like this palisade wall will be torched down, and there's another little thing that's changed about the palisade walls. When you destroy one tile of palisade, it actually destroys the ones neighbouring to it as well. Gives you a little bit more of an entry point, and we're probably expected to see that very soon. All villagers on the deer pack though, very exposed. A lot of them might go down. In fact, he probably should be able to survive. Does have wheelbarrow, of course. Will survive with a lot of them behind the gate, but we'll lose 2 to 3 there in total. And he continues to torch down this wall. And getting an outpost on the sacred sites, but the problem for SAS right now, he's got a pressing issue here. Right on the front of his base, the camel riders. We see a mangonel being built on the field by the veteran archers for the Abbasid Dynasty. Blacksmith upgrades starting to come in now. We do see bloomery starting to be researched. And it looks like, as you can see, it's actually cheaper as well with 40 food and 100 gold. The second mangonel will probably finish this game because SAS doesn't really have an answer. Has one mangonel of his own. Has a lot of infantry in the form of spearmen, which are very vulnerable to the mangonel. Looks like the fast castle for the Abbasid Dynasty working wonders in this matchup today. Sacred site now in the middle. It's being capped, but actually the imam's going to walk straight to the front lines of the fight. Looks like Beastie is ready to engage here. Coming up to the 20-minute mark almost. This could be the big fight that we're expected to see finish out the game. Who will come out on top though? It does look like it's going to be the Abbasid Dynasty. A few, looks like man-at-arms there involved. Here comes the engagement. The archers there getting great value. It just feels like SAS is toying with things a little bit. He's heading forward, heading back, doesn't quite engage. And the veteran archers do get a lot of damage per second as the retreating army for the Ottomans get picked off. And slowly, here comes the push. 2 mangonels about to unpack your fuel. Mangonel shot does come off there for the Ottomans with a huge shot against the veteran archers. Mangonel shots are being retaliated though with the Abbasid Dynasty. Cavalry charges in with the spearmen. Mangonel on its last limbs does taken out for the Ottomans. 2 mangonels still alive though. The Abbasid Dynasty can't get a clean engagement on those mangonels. And here is the big fight. The archers are doing great work against the spearmen, and the camel riders are going to do the rest. The man-at-arms trying to be a strong front line, but you feel like it's not going to be enough. Another mangonel is out for the Ottomans. That's going to be sniped by 3 camel riders despite the spearmen there. Villagers trying to repair, but it's not going to be enough. And the mangonels, 2 mangonels do survive there for beastyqt with the army as they press on. The Ottomans' base is now exposed. The Abbasid Dynasty going to push in, and that is it, ladies and gentlemen. beastyqt wins this game on dry Arabia. The Ottomans failing prey to the new and improved Abbasid Dynasty. Looks like fast castle is a thing. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about the Abbasid Dynasty at the moment. Hope you guys enjoyed this cast game. Take care and see you next time.